and welcome to the tutorial how to make a macrame key ring. I am going to begin by showing you a very simple keychain. Just used the square knot to make this one with the wrap knot or the gathering knot at the end. Okay, so for this one you will need the 3mm cord, and today I'm going to be using the 3mm single twist in pearl. Okay, you can use the 3-ply, that's absolutely fine. It's just that I decided to use the single twist this afternoon. And I'm also then going to show you a more intricate pattern that you can do, and for that I'm going to use the 1.5mm single twist cord, which will just be able to do a bit more designing with this one. You will also need some masking tape. You will need a keychain, a key ring. Now these ones I just got from Amazon. You can get them from eBay, or you can get them from plenty of shops if you just Google them. If you buy one of our kits, obviously our kits come with one as well. You're going to need a comb. Okay, I'm just using a regular comb, that's for just combing out the end. You're going to need a decent pair of scissors. I use these Fiskars ones, these dressmaker scissors, they are fantastic. You might want to use a bead or more. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we can add a bead onto our key ring. And to begin with, I'm going to start off with 2 lengths of the 3mm single cord in pearl. Okay, so each length is a metre. Okay, so I've got 2 lengths for our first simple key ring, which are a metre. So if I move that out of the way, and I'll show you how we get going. Now I'm working on a corkboard. For those of you that have seen other tutorials, I do like to work on a corkboard because I can pin my work in place to stop it moving here, there and everywhere. So I'm going to do that today. I'm just going to put my pin there ready. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach one of my cords with a lark's head knot. So make sure the ends meet so it's even. Okay, put the loop through the key ring, open the loop and then pull 2 cords through. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat that again with my second cord. Okay, so make sure the ends meet, loop, over and through the ring, open the loop and pull the 2 cords. Okay, so I've got my lark's head knots, and I like it with the cords showing at the front just because it gives a neater finish. You can have it as a reverse lark's head if you wanted to, where you don't see the cord at the front. Okay, so it's personal preference. So 2 lark's head knots, and I'm going to put my key ring around my pin, which means when I'm making these knots I'll be able to pull my knots taut so that they're nice and sharp knots. They're not going to be too loose or. So my 2 cords in the centre are my holding cords. They are going to hold the square knot for this design, and my left and my right hand cord are my working cords because these are going to do the work. So I'm going to start off just by making a square knot. If you're new to macrame and you haven't seen this before, you can have a look at our basic knot tutorials. But for the square knot, first of all, I put my left hand cord over the centre 2 to make like an L shape or a number 4. My right hand cord is going to come over the left hand cord, but then I'm going to put it underneath the 2 centre ones, so I tend to lift that up and it's going to come through that L loop. Okay, and then what you do is you just pull those 2 together. I tend to rest my thumb on the centre cords just because I find it holds that in position and it stops it wobbling about everywhere and you get a nice taut knot. So that's the first half of our square knot. So now I'm going to do the other side. So my right hand cord, it's like making a P shape, so it's going over the centre 2 but underneath the left, and then the left hand cord is going to go, I almost think of it, it's like a diagonal underneath the cross, and it's going to come through this P loop. Okay, and then you're going to get that loop, hold your holding cord steady, and then just pull those so you've got a nice neat square knot. Okay, so that's a basic square knot. I'm going to repeat that another twice. Okay, so I'm going to have half square knot and complete square knot. Okay, so that's a second square knot and a third. You will get into a rhythm when you do this, you'll find your own way of working. Okay, there we go. So I've got my 2 lark's heads and I've got 1, 2, 3 square knots. Now I'm just going to make a basic short keychain to begin with. So I'm now going to add a bead and then I'm going to do another 3 knots. So to add the bead, this is where you need your tape. Okay. So I'm going to get my masking tape and I'm going to, this is how I do it, you might have a better way of doing it, which is fine. But I want to be able to feed these 2 cords through the gap in my bead that I'm using. Now I've got 4mm gaps, okay, but if I twist that, that should flatten down. Okay, so I'm still wiggling it through. There we go, we got there eventually. So then you're going to feed your bead up to your last square knot. Okay, and then you can take the tape off, or you can just cut it actually. Okay, so I've got my bead in there now. Okay, that is the trickiest part, getting the cords through the bead, which is why you need to make sure that you've got decent size holes in your bead. And then I'm going to make another 3 square knots. Okay, so that first square knot, the edges will outline your bead. Okay. So I'm going to make another square knot, and then I will do one last one. Okay. So again, as I say, you could carry this further, you could add another bead if you wanted to, or you could add more square knots. Okay, I'm personally going to leave it there. Okay, so I've got 3 and then I've got 3. Okay. Okay, right, to finish off and neaten the end of our macrame keychain, I'm going to make what we call a wrap knot, or you might have heard it called a gathering knot. And it's just going to wrap these cords together, gather them together to make a nice neat finish. Okay, so making sure your square knots are all nice and neat. I've got another cord Okay, now I'm choosing to do this the same colour, okay, but you could do it a different colour if you wanted to. You could actually do it a terracotta to contrast with the bead. It's entirely up to you. But I'm going to fold over probably about, what's that, about 10-12 centimetres to make a loop, okay, and I'm going to place my loop pointing down towards the bottom of the keychain. Okay, now I find it easy to do this sideways. So there's the top of the keychain, my loop's facing down. Then I've got a little tail here which I need to leave exposed because we're going to need this to secure the wrap knot once we've done the wrapping. Okay, so I've got my tail. Now the longer end of my cord I'm going to hold in my right hand. If you're left-handed, do your left hand. And then I'm going to simply wrap that around the cords that are loose. Okay, and I want to do it quite tight because I want to make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, you just keep going, keep wrapping it for as far as you want really. Okay, then you can neaten it up. Just do one more wrap. Okay, and then that loop that was exposed at the end, I'm going to put that cord through the loop, making sure you're holding everything tightly, and then the bit at the top that I said we would need that's exposed, you want to pull this, and if you can see, that is actually pulling the loop, there we go, inside that wrap knot. And then what you can do is you can spend a bit of time neatening it up so that you're happy with how neat it is. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, there we go, so that's just a simple wrap knot. It's gone a little bit loose at the end there, but I could always trim some loose fibres if I wanted to. I am going to trim this little bit at the top because I don't want that. And if you've got any bits that are sticking out, you can push them into the knot so that they're hiding. You can do that here as well. In fact, rather than cut those fibres there that are loose, I can just tuck them in. Okay, but you'll be able to spend a bit more time tidying and neatening it up. Then I'm going to decide where I want my cords to be cut here. I think I'll go there, and then you can leave them like that, or you can just use your comb to fray them out to give them a fringe. Okay. Right, I'm going to spend a little bit of time playing and neatening that knot. You might find that once you cut the, let's see then, so I'm going to spend a bit of time neatening those fibres, but you might find once you've cut your fringe here, they're all a little bit uneven again. So, decent pair of sharp scissors. There you go. And you've got a basic macrame key ring with a bead added just for a bit of an extra touch. Okay, right, I'm now going to show you how to make a more delicate or a more intricate design using the 1.5mm cord. So you'll need some 1.5mm cord, another key ring, you'll need your scissors and your brush. If you're going to add beads, you might need some tape. So if you get everything ready, and I'll meet you to make the next one. Okay, so as you can see, I just neatened up my wrap knot just so it looks a bit tidier. I got rid of those loose fibres at the end, and there's my first basic macrame keyring. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you another keyring with the 1.5mm cord. So this time I've gone for the terracotta, and I've cut myself, these are probably about 1.5 meters, so 1.5 meters, 150 centimeters, and I've got 6 lengths. Okay, I'm attaching them with a lark's head knot, but what I am going to do with this one is I'm going to do an alternating square knot pattern, and then I am going to do a double hitch knot. Okay, so it will just have a bit more of a pattern, a bit more detail to it, this one now. Okay. So, oh look, I've done that the wrong way. Take it off. Sometimes you'll end up doing a reverse lark's head knot just because you've put the loop over the wrong way, but it doesn't matter. There we go. Okay, make sure it goes over, and then I'll get that cord at the front. I've got 4. Another one. And the last one. Quite time consuming actually when you're just putting the lark's head knots on. But once they're on, we can start the design. There we go. So I've got my 6 cords attached with the lark's head knot. I'm going to make sure that they're all nice and neat, don't overlap on each other. Okay, so I'm going to split them because I've now got 12 cords all together. I'm going to split them into 3 groups of 4 because I'm going to make 3 square knots. Okay, so it's a little bit more fiddly working with the thinner cord, but for a keychain it just allows us to do, as I say, a bit more of a design. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 square knot there. And because we've got more cords, try and make sure that you keep them nice and straight so they're not overlapping, because otherwise you could get yourself in a tangled mess. You can see there, that one had snuck underneath. That's half a square knot. Second square knot completed. There we go, make sure that they're nice and straight again, and I'm going to do a 3rd square knot. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to make sure that all these cords are straight again. Hold them together so that they're all as close as they can be, but without looking too squashed. And now what I'm going to do is we're going to make an alternating square knot, okay, which is going to join these knots together and give us sort of like an alternating pattern. So for this, take the first 2 cords out because we don't need those, and we need 2 right hand cords from this first knot, and then we're going to take the 2 left hand cords from the next knot. So what you can see is this is going to join these 2 knots together. Okay, so half a square knot, and a complete square knot. And again, spend time making sure your cords are nice and straight. And the next 2. There we go. Okay, so now you can see that we had 3 square knots on the first row. On the second row we've just got the 2 knots, but we've joined these together. Now I'm going to keep going. Okay, you can keep going for as long as you want really, but I'm going to do another good few rows. So this row will have 3 square knots. Okay, so I'm using all the cords now. So this row will have 3 square knots, and then the 4th row will have 2 square knots. The 5th row will have 3 square knots, the 6th row will have 2 square knots, and so on, for as long as you want to go on. Okay.